Institute, and I'm really, I feel privileged to be here, to be here in Belém at the COP. But I am also especially privileged to be here at the SDG Pavilion. This pavilion is so important. So I want to encourage a spirit of provocation, where we allow ourselves to say provocative things. And I'm going to start off by saying one provocative thing that may be unpopular, but I don't believe we need new indicators. We need to double down on SDGs. If we want the world we want to live in, let's just focus on the SDGs. Let's not lose the importance of, and the passion that's gone into the SDGs. I feel like they're a little bit underrepresented here at the COP. As one of my colleagues said yesterday, this is a precious time. It's precious and precarious, sorry. In the sense that we are seeing a rate of change like we have never seen before. We are seeing every single year, almost every single day, new records broken. I feel like as somebody who does long-term planning, we are wholly unprepared for what's to come. We are truly unprepared. And I think these kind of solutions that we'll talk about today are a critical foundation in order to find some solutions. And we need to do it together. So one of the things I heard yesterday, we had 4 speakers from development banks. And the one thing they agreed on was that if you keep in your silos, you will fail. You will fail. We need to be working across silos. And this is what part of this discussion today is about. So I think of this as a combination of, we say water energy, but I actually think of it in terms of mitigation and adaptation. How do we bring these two together? My personal work shows that on the order of billions of dollars of investments are misplaced by not making these linkages. So let's take the spirit forward to do some integrated work. So I'd like to hand over to the speakers. I'd like to start with Mr. Rodrigo Meneghetti, Itapo, Brazil. You'll correct me, I hope. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rogério Meneghetti. I'm superintendent of renewable energies at Itaipu Binational. I'm an electrician and master degree in that area too. And it's a big pleasure to be here, exactly that you say, in SDG Pavilion, talking about water and the connection of energy. So I have a presentation. No, the other one. Yeah, that one. My English is not the best in the world, so I prepared a presentation to help me to pass my message to you. So, Itaipu Binational is a hydroelectric power plant. We have the world record to produce the renewable energy in the world by Guinness. So we have proud of this. And you can pass the okay, yeah, pass one, yeah. And where we are in south of Brazil, far like 2,700 kilometers from here, from Pará. Is very far from here, but still Brazil. Border with Paraguay and near to Argentina. Another one. And the most important input for Itaipu to produce energy after the employees, I must say that, is water, of course. There is some general data about our reservoir. Our useful life of our reservoir is 184 years. And the idea is to renew this time every single year. That's our idea, and our project is in that position, that way. For many years, come back. For many years, Itaipu just focused on the preserving the water itself. And we understood after some reflections, 20 years ago, that we need to take care for the surrounding territory too. And, okay? And when we look to the surrounding operation area of Itaipu, nowadays is the size of France and England together. So there is all the state of Paraná, part of the Mato Grosso do Sul, and the whole Paraguay. And we are talking about 19 million people. It's a big number of people near our reservoir. And what people produce? Me and you, everyone here, waste. Waste. It's not. It's normal to being a human produce waste. So we understood that we must take care of people near our reservoir, and we launched this kind of project, recyclable waste evaluation units. There is some we try to organize the recyclable waste collectors that exist in the region, but used to work individually. So our idea is to concentrate them in a place with infrastructure to benefit the recyclable waste. So there is some kind of results. And every single kilogram that we can recyclable, it's leave to be the potential to come to our reservoir. So are taking care of these people, we are taking care of the reservoir. That's the main idea. And the average income of them, like plus more than 100% with this project. Their recovery rate is 30% in the cities Itaipu works, and the average of Brazil is 2%. So it's super higher. We are in the future thinking about talking about recyclable material. So there is another data here that connects to the SDG, and the total saved money that we calculate is kind of 800 million of reais. Another one. And other thing that we have in our region is the production of meat animals. So every dot in this panel near our reservoir in the left in the image, every dot is a cattle, swine, or chicken production. There is a lot, more than 5 million pigs in the region, more than 100,000, 100 million of chickens too. And a consequence of this business is a direct consequence of the economic activity in the region is the production of animal waste, the manure. And if we not treat this manure, they come to our reservoir. That's the idea. So Itaipu started to develop the biogas technology. So like 20 years ago. Another one? And this is a project, the biggest one that we have in a place called Toledo, Paraná, the city Toledo, Paraná state. In that place, we concentrated the manure of 40,000 pigs. It's a lot of pigs. And with the biodigester, you can produce biogas and produce energy to distribute it to the community, like say that. And individually, these farmers near this project couldn't have a viable economic, but with this project, all of them can work together to be like bring some money with these actions. So that's it. That's my main idea to talk to you is if you want to take care of water, we must take care of people and look to the ground. What people are doing near our reservoir, near the water. What are they doing? What is the problems that they want to solve? They need to solve to have a better connection with the water. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that inspiring talk. I really enjoyed that. It's interesting to me when we start talking about water and energy, how quickly we find ourselves also talking about solid waste and talking about livestock, energy, the potential for fertilizer and biogas. These are all interwoven, but of particular interest to me was your last sentence about people. We have to remember that we're not just on this earth, we are of this earth. We are of the earth. We belong here, and we need to treat it like we really belong, not that we own. So thank you. That was really inspiring. So I'd like to turn to Professor Junling Zhang. Please introduce yourself and correct my pronunciation.
Okay. All right. Should I just go with my presentation up here? Okay. Maybe we can switch. You sit there. This is a very cozy, very friendly environment. Okay. All right. So good morning, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Nadine and Xinyi, for inviting me to attend this, like Annette said, a very important event at SDG Pavilion. I am Chuanlin Zhang from Southern University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen, China, a city that's growing fast with the high technology, very close to Hong Kong. All right. So I'm here on behalf of Professor Nianzhi Jiao, the director or chief scientist of the UN Ocean Decade Program called Ocean Negative Carbon Emissions. We are doing CO2 negative emission, taking CO2 out of the atmosphere and put it into the deep ocean. And these four logos are important to know. The first one is UNESCO, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, IOC. UNESCO IOC directs, guides a program called UN Ocean Decade. The ocean and different countries. All right. Ocean negative carbon emissions once is the name of the program, of the UN sponsored program. It's a program will last for 15 years with a current budget of $300 million. So it's a big program. It's very highly competitive. Under this program is my own project called iCube. iCube. The I is really the top, the Shenzhen city. All right, skyscrapers. The middle is the beach. And the bottom is the blue ocean. So, all right. So we call it intelligent, intellectual, integrated. My topic today is leveraging marine green energy for water production and ocean-based carbon removal, removing CO2 from the air into the ocean. And to integrate wastewater treatment, we talk about solid waste, and we're going to talk about other waste as well. Desalination. Ocean is the majority of water on the planet Earth. Over 90-something% is saline water. Fresh water is a very tiny, tiny drop for the whole ocean. So coastal cities need water, need fresh water, and they take it from the ocean. They have to take off the salt. We want to use green energy and ocean negative technologies for the important climate resilience concept. All right, so this is the guy, Nianzhi Jiao, the chief scientist. He couldn't be here because he has to deal with a lot of bureaucracy back home to make sure the money continues to flow into our program. But this big program has very well thought scheme. In other words, the mission. the obligations, the goals, the criteria for doing good things, and also very specific tasks. The tasks are innovative research, research platform, and demonstration sites. And finally, well, this is important for here. It is international exchange and collaboration. We welcome everybody from this big dome to think and join our program. Okay, so the final one is training. We train domestic young people as well international. We have hubs in all 5 continents to invite people, like you, young, come to China and participate in our program for short-term research. Okay. All right, so why, I am so grateful, like Annette said, to be invited here because we face a common challenge. The challenge is a stress, water, energy nexus. We want to overcome that problem. And we have the climate change that intensifies the interdependent pressures on water and energy. So examples, water scarcity. We have people from countries who are very low in fresh water. Energy intensive desalination. You desalinate water, you take energy. Solar energy, whatever, coal energy. And in China, people are using nuclear energy for desalination. Coastal acidification. We have people from countries very next to the coast, Brazil, coastal ocean. Wastewater, we talk about solids, but we also have wastewater treatment plants right next to the ocean, gets dumped to the ocean. That'll cause the acidification because of the low pH of the waste. And we really need to hear at SDG to have good policies, how to turn wastewater into things that renewable, useful, right? Next, please. Okay, so I would like to propose a technical solution to integrate green energy and carbon removal technologies for wastewater treatment optimization, raising pH of the waste from 6 to above 7 or above 8. That'll take care of a lot of problems. To deploy advanced materials, this will bring in new technology for memory, for advanced memory filtration. Integrate green energy to power desalination, make it renewable, and really to strengthen carbon sinks. We do ocean negative carbon emission. We use a lot of innovative thinking to turn wastewater into a resource. All right, so some details include innovative materials and system integration, materials for filtration, high performance memory materials, PTFE, and for precise control of pH. Someone said, you enhance the pH too fast or too intense, you may let the ecosystem to deteriorate. But if we add the material slowly, the ecosystem can adapt. And eventually, we want to do very efficient hybrid desalination using the waste. You take solid waste. The salt out of the desalination plant, it can be salt as well, right? So that brine water, we can add new material to enhance the alkalinity of that material to go back to the ocean. That waste is not harmful. It's just salt going back to the ocean with enhanced alkalinity capacity. Okay. And some numbers based on our empirical evidence from Chinese projects which may have global potentials. One is the 3 million cubic meters per day capacity of desalination. and that's still growing in China. We would like to take that technology to expand it to other parts of the globe, so everybody living on the coast water can have this capability. And this is 3 to 16 gigaton CO2 per year. That's the potential to use wastewater treatment plants, alkalinity enhancement for taking CO2, additional CO2, out of the air into the ocean. So through large-scale desalination and wastewater pH management, we can enhance water security, reduce carbon footprint, and also boost the blue economy. So blue economy is on everybody's mind. That's our common goal. And we have science, research behind all these concepts. All right, so we have extended benefits, social health and ecological restoration, because when you do wastewater, when you do pH enhancement, you reduce the solubility of a lot of heavy metals. You increase the pH, the heavy metals will precipitate, right? And ecological restoration, and we are here at SDG. So what we are doing is directly linked to SDG 7, energy, and SDG 13, climate action. Next, please. All right, so what I've presented is maybe good ideas based on science and technology, but we want to make it into policy. SDG UN, we want you to hear. We want Nadina to take the message back to the headquarters of the United Nations and tell the leaders, let's raise pH. I want to give credit to Xinyi because Xinyi helped us to submit a policy briefing at the last UN STI conference. So it's being accepted, and we want to make it to be aware by more and more people, to raise pH standards, to promote collaborations. This big dome is a big family party. So I'm open to anybody for any idea of collaboration. And again, let's all incentivize innovation by providing subsidized pH adjustment technology and support the coupling of desalination with the renewable energy. We integrate things, we can save a lot of energy, save a lot of wastes. Okay. All right. So to conclude, we really want to integrate marine resource, which is a breakthrough for addressing the water, energy, climate challenge, and the synergetic technologies can really achieve a win-win outcome if we all work together. So I like to call to action to really start with the local pilots. We're doing this in local cities in China. We really like to work with people in Brazil, in other countries, with the audience. And I think we can have a bright future. The bright future will be we can continue technological innovation and resource recycling. You talk about recycling of waste. We can talk about resource recycling and position the ocean, the majority of the land surface, as a core of these sustainable solutions. Next slide is thank you for listening. All right.
Thank you so much, Professor Zhang. For those of you who don't know me, I come from the United States, and it is a relief to hear a country that respects science. So that's really one of the good takeaways here. We need science to solve this problem. We need people, we need the ecosystems, and we need science, and we need good science. And I really appreciate the call to cooperation, collaboration, and I think we also need to do quite a bit more on capacity building. That there's some places that have much more capacity than others, and how do we kind of spread that word? I think that's really important. And I love that you brought the oceans into this. It's such an inspiring. So our final speaker, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience, Mr. Daniel Vasquez, Itaipu Powerway.
So, good morning to everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be part of this panel. My presentation will talk about information technology for the water and energy nexus. I try to complement and to extend a little bit about what Itaipu does. My colleague already mentioned some of the activities that we do in the region, and I will talk about this. So I am Daniel Vasquez. I am a civil engineer. I work at Itaipu Binational in the Paraguayan side, and I have a master's degree in water science and engineering. I am coordinating a research center, an applied research center, called the International Center on Hydroinformatics. So my colleague already mentioned this. I'm not going to repeat, but I would like to say that our mission in the company, in the entity, postulates that we need to generate quality electricity. So social and environmental responsibility is needed to foster sustainable development in both countries, in Paraguay and Brazil, and also in the region. At Itaipu, we like to say that every drop that moves a turbine connects knowledge, resilience, and cooperation. Sorry. So this sentence explains that water powers energy, and energy sustains the water management. So our model focuses on taking care of the ecosystem for water management and for water security. This is why we safeguard around 100,000 hectares of protected areas, which fixes around 5.8 million tons of CO2 by the forest biomass. On the other side, the hydropower is a large-scale hydropower. It generates a lot of energy. In 2016, set a world record that allowed the production of energy that serves for the development of the country, but it also provides the resources for taking care of the catchment, the water, and the ecosystem that allows, again, to generate electricity for an extended period of time. So this is the nexus for us. It is very important. And in the middle, we have a successful model for cooperation among two countries. And we have also technology, and we have data that is in the middle. Is essential to guarantee the connection among these two aspects. Very quickly, so in South America in general, there is a high dependence on hydroelectric, and climate challenges are very acute. So there is a need for joint water, energy, and environmental planning to act in a proactive way. So this is why we think that climate technology is also an enabler. At the company, we invest a lot in IoT sensors, real-time monitoring, predictive models, integrated data platforms for assisting the decision-making process to intervene in the catchment. Also, we are trying to work in digital twins for scenario simulation to even improve better the planning that will happen in the catchment. So very quickly, I'm not going in detail with this, but we have several units that they manage data and information. The climatology unit has several stations across the country, and multiple parameters are being collected at real time. Also, relevant information is being produced constantly, such as analysis of climate trends. We have implemented a high-resolution weather model for our catchment. It's specialized for our catchment. We always provide analysis of precipitation in the catchment as well, and also for forest fire reports. Also, we have a limnology unit that has a comprehensive monitoring plan to monitor water and all the data that is being collected is being analyzed in our laboratories. And we have a very big database to manage all this data that is available in an efficient way to provide timely information for the decision-making process in general. So very quickly, we try to use the data in the most efficient way to translate this to information to support the decision-making process, as I mentioned before. So this, for instance, is a tool that we have developed where we try to translate technical information to easy-to-understand indicators for the decision makers. So, for instance, to use this tool during discussions in water bodies or in other spaces to allow people to understand quickly and how are the different aspects of the catchment behaving. So we find this tool very relevant because it's very easy to use. We can produce on-the-fly information, consult different type of indicators, and to see this in the different catchments and along the basin. So this allows to assess the decision-making process. And very quickly, I will try to show very other experiences that we have in the entity, such as floating solar panels, solar thermals and water heaters, renewable energies in isolated areas where the energy supply doesn't reach. Also, we monitor underground water aquifers in cooperation with national institutions. Also, we do promote electromobility as well as forest restoration. So the last piece of information that I would like to provide is that this is our carbon footprint, our CO2 budget. The reservoir is a big reservoir, not that big actually because it's a run-of-the-river type of reservoir, but emits CO2. It emits around 235,000 tons of CO2. Also, our administrative operations, such as the vehicle fleet and others, they also emit, but our forests, they absorb 20 times more than what we emit. So we have a positive footprint in this sense, and this also expresses the importance of a proper ecological management of the catchment to produce ecosystem services as well. So I will leave it here. No, I will try to talk very quickly about this. So the challenges, they lead to opportunities, and the path that we find in Itaipu as successful is through cooperation, and in this particular case with a proper investment in climate tech. So that's it. Thank you very much for the space.
Thank you, Daniel. I wanted to mention a couple of things. I really think it's critical, this idea of open data, that we have accurate and open data is the foundation of being able to make good decision making. So I really like to emphasize that point. In fact, I'd say my own personal work is very much about the democratization of knowledge, and the basis of that has to start in good data. But I also was inspired by the fact that cooperation across 3 countries, because I think this also opens up the opportunity when we look across water and energy, not just water. It gives more avenues for cooperation across countries. So it's not just I get a cubic meter of water and you don't get a cubic meter of water. Let's talk about what happens when we think about that cubic meter of water's value in terms of the energy, the food, the ecosystem value that it brings to that. So I'd like to open up to the audience. If you could just tell us your name and where you're from.
Thank you so much. We are the team. We are coming from DRC, Congo in Central Africa, in the Congo Basin. And we are in the Central Africa. And our network is named CFLED. CFLED is a CFLED. We are going to give you the card. It's the Women Coalition for Sustainable Development. Okay, and we are working about the fresh water because we are in the forest area. And which the forest area, we have rivers. We have lot of rivers, and we are linking river and forest together because the river is giving the force to the forest, and the forest all are feeding the river, and all of them are going to the ocean. But we have such problem of energy. We haven't got energy. We need to link people so that we can have the problem of energy in our country. Local communities and indigenous peoples don't have access to the energy. How can we link to be together in order to work together? We need science because of the science, you are going to have information from the local communities and the indigenous people. How can you promote to link people, Chinese and your organization with ours in Democratic Republic of Congo? That's the question, and we need presentation. Thank you so much.
Would any of you like to respond?
I can start. When we think about solutions, Itaipu think that we must put the new technologies near the people. So in COP, we introduce our hydrogen boat that you use to transport the residues of the people from Pará. So they use like normal boats with diesel, and our idea is we bring this project of that units, that recyclable material to Pará, from Paraná to Pará, here, Belém. And we organize some collectors here on Pará, but they use diesel, so it's very strange for us. No. So we developed this technology that, and after COP, you can see the boat here on COP, and after COP, they are used to transport the waste from all people here. So the idea, we take this technology and put in the life of people to try, to test, bring the problems, and we solve after that then to better a good life to these people. Another thing that we use here, we introduce here on COP today is a biosynchronous, that's artificial oil. We use biogas and green hydrogen put together in the machine and produce this oil. It's this renewable synthetic oil. That is the base to produce sustainable aviation fuels. So that's the idea. How can we use electricity, like to create another kind of decarbonize other sectors? So in Brazil, We have 90% of renewable in the electric system. Paraguay is 100%, 100%. Brazil is just 9% until the whole world, the average is 30%. So how can we transport this renewable energy to other sectors? So in other words, how can I use water to decarbonize the other sectors? So we use hydrogen in this synthetic oil to transmit this renewability.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can follow up on that. The question is, how do we best utilize the water, the river water, and the forest to make a better living, right? Okay, so, right. So to integrate the whole system, in terms of technology, I am a marine scientist. I'm not doing that kind of technology, but I have been following news about development in China. I can give you one example. In China, in Tibet, in the Mongolia, they have a lot of desert, very low water resource, but they have developed a technology to save water. It's a little boy, a high school student, won the World Academy Innovation Technology to save water. So there is technology available to use less water. And in terms of energy, green energy, solar will be a good option. China is leading the solar panel energy itself. And in terms of science, that's what we can do to best enhance the soil ecosystem, to retain water and keep the root healthy, and make the whole ecosystem to be resilient. I would like to encourage you to visit the China Pavilion. They have a lot of information there. You can just take my question, take your question to the China Pavilion very across. They should be able to help you. China Pavilion. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Just a second. I just wanted to say something. What I'm hearing from our experts here, the reason for no access to energy in the Congo is not about technology. We could leapfrog. It's not an issue of technology. The technology is there. Where is the will to make it happen? It's appalling that anybody doesn't have access to energy on this planet at this time. We know how to do this. This is not rocket science. It's political will. And I personally am very committed to see this happen, so I'm really glad you spoke. One more intervention.
Yes, I would like to contribute very quickly and to mention again the importance of cooperation. You were asking about how to protect water and forests and take advantage of that. So, but in Paraguay we do not have access to oceans, but we do have access to big rivers. And what we do, what I try to say is this model between these two countries has been an example. Instead of having a dispute for the use of water, we took advantage of this. And also this is translated in the entire catchment. It is important to understand the needs of the different stakeholders, and this will allow to work together. So to give you an example, Itaipu, the hydropower plant, is very concerned about its reservoir because it's the source of energy. And to protect the reservoir, it needs to intervene in the entire catchment. And in the entire catchment, you have multiple stakeholders. So Itaipu tries to promote education, to facilitate technology, to assist people when it's needed, to make reforestation across the rivers close to the reservoir, because Itaipu needs to extend its functioning as much as possible. And these other people, they also need these other things, so cooperation is quite important. and when you address the need of everyone, it's going to be easier to take actions. So I just wanted to add that.
Do we have other questions or? Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Oh, I actually had one quick comment to the delegation from DRC. I do recommend, so I have a question for the group, but I like how you started with what you have. You have the forests, you have the water. That's a good place to start. You need to build on top of that and not take something that's not adding value to what you already have. There, just to mention, in Malaysia, I'm actually representing the Malaysia Pavilion and delegation. There's a very similar environment, indigenous communities developing decentralized energy in mountainous areas with forests and rivers. I recommend at 2 p.m. to look at what they've done to build the ecosystem around creating that energy infrastructure. It involves the technology, it involves regulation, it involves funding. So look at that. That's a complex problem. So I recommend the Malaysia Pavilion at 2 p.m. A speaker of ours will be talking about that rural electrification planning. Sorry to jump off that. Oh, okay. I will translate. Yeah, en français. Okay. My question, I don't want to, sorry. I had a question about the technology for the desalination and then the carbon sequestration. I'm just curious how universal it is. How much does it depend on local marine conditions, water temperature, the local environment, or is this something that is applicable across different geographies? Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Okay. Maybe we can switch to a different question. Does anyone else have a different question? Okay, so we can continue. All right. So this is good. Ocean negative carbon emission is global, it's universal. So in terms of ocean-related facilities, it can be in the coastal region, it can be in the Bay Area, it can be in the open water. At the coastal, we can take advantage of the wastewater treatment plants and also desalination plants. So it's only applicable at the coastal region because in open ocean, it's perhaps more like sea farming, growing algae, macroalgae for taking CO2. So for coastal wastewater treatment plant and desalination are applicable everywhere, as long as you have that kind of infrastructure.
Hello everyone, my name is Mirei. I am from a youth organization here in Brazil, Engajamundo. And I wanted to ask you, what youth programs that you have in your lab and in your corporation, do you listen to youth, what they need? Because we youth, we are not just the future, but we are also the ones that are going to go through extreme climate crisis for a longer time. So my question is there something for youth voices in your company and also your lab? You want to start?
So if I understand, it's a question about how much are we involving youth in the decision-making processes. Yes, and hearing their voices, and because their voice has priority, they are going to have to live with the consequences of what my generation has left them with. So how can we do a better job of getting the voice of youth in what we're doing?
We can talk later. Actually, we think we can talk later and better, like in a calm situation. But Itepu always do that. Go to a new city and start to listen the problems that the city have, the people has in the city, and try to connect the solutions that we are working. Itaipu works in the pilot projects because the private sector doesn't like to invest in project pilots because they don't see the return of the money in the short and medium and a short time, short or middle time. And this kind of projects that you just pay in a longer time, the public sections must work on that. And Itaipu, Brazil, and Paraguay work on developing this kind of technology that the private sectors don't want to invest.
Okay, I can follow up on that question. Youth is the future. We all agree on that, right? So for Global Ones, we have two ways. One is to short-term training. We have summer camps. We announced that everyone who's in our research field can join. But we also have outreach programs to everybody for just education. And also there's a concept called ECOP, Early Oceanographic Professionals. So we have a large young organization to allow everybody to join us. So I'll give you some brochure that you can contact. You can spread the word to your colleagues who are in our research field. But if you want to turn yourself into an ocean scientist, you're not late. You got it? Okay. Welcome everybody to join our organization, to become a scientist, to become maybe an entrepreneur, whatever, related to ocean negative carbon emissions. So everybody's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And in the continent that I come from, youth are not the future; they're they're the current population. 70% of Africans are young, below the age of 35. So it's happening now for them. So their voices do matter. They're changing governments and they're driving change. But I came in late to the conversation, but I'm not too late because I do know of the excellent work that Tempu is doing. And it's not just about technology. I think what really struck me is that it's not just about technology, but it's the others that multiply your effect. You talked about collaboration and partnerships, for instance, which is really important. My question, which has been a question that I've been asking, or a comment that I've been making for quite some time, is you cannot keep this experience just between the two countries. This is something that you have to share globally, because like you said, and I'm happy to be here in Brazil, this is my fourth time coming here, but when I come to Brazil, I recognize my home in Africa. It's very similar. And you heard people from DRC very excited because they're now in the Amazon. When you go to Congo, it's very much like what you're having here. So what are you really being intentional in sharing your knowledge, your experience, beyond your technology, but also in your institutional practices with the rest of the world, for instance, with Africa? So I have the same question for you, and thank you for the invitation for all of us to become oceaneers and ocean technologies. But are you really being intentional? Because I think when we start projects, it's not just in the operations, it's also in the other things that are really going to scale up. And packaging, communicating, sharing, collaboration are really key to make a difference. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. So very quickly, we have the same thing as your country in Paraguay. We are most of our population is youth, so we do think that we are the present and the future. I just would like to mention that we do try to make visible our actions in the global platforms. So that's why we are here. We have partnered with multiple international institutions such as UN DESA in the past and created a network to share our experience and to get in touch with the key organizations in the world to try to help and to give our, I don't know the term in English, the grano de arena, so a particle of sand. So we do have this experience. We try to share our knowledge and to see what has been a good example for us and might be replicable in other places.
Okay, so the question, if I understand correctly, is can we truly establish global collaborations for the human nature? Let me say this. There's Global South and there's South-South collaboration. I can say we mean it. I mean what I will say, and I say what I mean. Under Global Ones, we truly have this international collaboration because it is guided by the UN Ocean Decade. The UN Ocean Decade requires true global collaboration by sharing data, by sharing infrastructure, by working together to solve the problem related to climate. So you should not be questioning, worrying about the true nature of this global collaboration. So, yeah, thank you.
Hello, so my name is Lynn. I represent two continents, Asia and Africa. So my question is to you, sir. I come from the Philippines.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
sure.
So we're proud with a lot of islands, right?
Mm-hmm.
What collaboration have you been able to take that far over there concerning all the waters we're engulfed in?
Okay, so I think we are all facing the same problem. The climate change, the ocean temperature rising. Collaboration is the only way, regardless what other disputes we may have. So for me, we are global. So we have 33 countries reaching 35. And Asian Pacific, we have collaborations in the South Asia countries, including the Philippines. I have a good friend from the Philippines, so there's no problem for us to collaborate to solve the single, most critical question, the problem, keeping the temperature below 1.5 or 2 degrees. That's everybody's interest or concern. We should all work together. Thank you.
We're at time. I just wanted to close because one of the most inspiring things from all of this conversation is this idea of collaboration, cooperation, sharing data, sharing technologies. Wouldn't it be fabulous if we could fund a project linking the Congo and the countries of the Congo to Brazil and Paraguay? Let's take some inspiration from this. I know everyone in this room is committed to cooperation and collaboration, so let's take that forward. Thank you so much for the engagement. Thank you.
Can we please gather for the group picture?
Yeah, since we have a very small audience, maybe we should have everybody.
Yeah.
So to be united.
You can hold the 7.
Yes, 7. Oh, okay. for being here.